Well, hello plant friends. Welcome back to my vlog on my channel, Houseplant Passion. Today is a continuation of my series, A Plant a Day. It goes over the tips and care for the plant that we're discussing for that day. So the plant I decided to bring out in my collection today is my big and beautiful Ficus Abidjan, also known as a burgundy rubber plant, which I don't understand where the burgundy comes from, but I'm not going to judge, okay? This plant has just such a special place in my heart. I was going through a pretty rough patch at work, and my husband, who already thought I had way too many plants in my possession, went to the local grocery store and saw this ficus and brought it home to me, and I cried. Not gonna lie, I cried. I had tears of joy. I isolated her for 3.5 weeks, and that was a mistake. We'll cover that in a minute. But I absolutely adore this plant, not just because of the emotional attachment I have to it, because it was given to me by my husband in hard times, but I just had always wanted a ficus plant since I've been bitten by the plant obsession bug. This plant comes from a tropical region, and it is a tree, so it will get big. It's gonna require a large amount of space in my house when she grows big and beautiful. If I let her grow big and beautiful, you can, as I have, trim her in strategic areas to make her more bushy instead of tall. So as long as you clip her around the nodes, she will bifurcate. Hopefully, she does not always, but most of the time, rubber trees or ficuses will bifurcate and grow wider instead of taller. So they love bright and direct light. East-facing window would be best, with a sheer curtain if you are in the Eastern Hemisphere. If not, you would want a Western-facing window in the Western Hemisphere. I don't have Eastern-facing windows. The best I could do for this sweet girl is give her a Western-facing window with a sheer curtain and give her assistance with a grow light. You know, my favorite, that bifurcated, easy to manipulate grow light from Amazon. I will put links to anything that I mention at the end of my videos in case you want to give it a look yourself. This girl came home. I gave her her own grow light, and she wasn't growing the way I thought she should have grown. I ignored it. That is number one. Don't ever ignore what you think a plant should be doing. These plants, they give you substantial growth pretty quickly, and she wasn't doing that for me. That should have been a red flag for me. I normally pull down the plants and look at the roots, look at all the undercarriages around where the leaf meets the stem, where the stem of the leaf meets the leaf itself. I give a pretty good look over of my plants before I bring them home. And as a note, if the plant I'm looking at, no matter how much I love it, is near ivy, I won't go near it. Absolutely will not, because ivy of any kind, spider mite magnet. If it doesn't have a spider mite on it, it will. No, lies. It has spider mites on it somewhere, whether it's egg form or it's adults. And if this thing, any plant has been touching ivy or anywhere near it, I'm talking 12 inches to 2 feet, I won't go near it, because I don't want to bring any kind of spider mite madness into my home, even though my husband did. We'll get to that in a minute. These plants love water. I mean, it's a shrub at this point. It goes through water pretty good, even though it's still winter for me. We haven't hit spring yet. We're in North Carolina. I give her a pretty thorough watering. I have her still in her original planter's pot that she came to me in. Even though I had removed her, I made sure that there were no other little extra presents waiting for me in the soil. I water her, basically I can water her with any kind of water I have available to me. I give her the hard water from my faucet, she doesn't care. Distilled water, doesn't care. Spring water, doesn't care. Any plant, it goes without saying, you need to give them room temperature or a little bit warmer water, or you will shock them. You'll shock the roots and it'll do harm to the plant. They don't like cold water. It's not something that would get in their environment. Rainwater, they'll love it. Again, I will say it again, mother's milk to plants, rainwater. If you have the ability to do it, absolutely do it. Catch it, give it to your, hold on to it into a container and give it to your plants. They will thrive on it. You want to avoid overwatering any plant, especially this plant, because it's going to lead to root rot, and root rot is death to plants. As we've already covered before, I'm a reformed serial killer of plants. I killed them to death with my love being water. So I'm reformed from that, and I have over 100 plants in my house, and I've had them for years, and I have yet to kill them. That doesn't mean I haven't had plant death in my house, but it has not been from water, okay? I am reformed. I am not a killer anymore that way. Temperatures, this plant, they say, loves anywhere between 60 and 80%, or 60 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. For those of you who do not live in the United States and use Celsius, that would be 15 to 29 degrees Celsius. I'm telling you, my plant, she's dropped into the mid to lower 50s, hasn't even batted an eye. She did not care. As far as humidity, they say they love 60 to 80% humidity. My house does not have that kind of humidity. I don't know of any house that has 80% humidity. Maybe a, greenhouse, but we don't, if we tried to have humidity in our homes like that, we would have black mold everywhere. It's just not realistic. She's loved 50 to 60% humidity. Hasn't batted an eye when it dropped down to 40, 45 in that room. I don't have in my dining room any kind of humidifier. And when it gets cold here in North Carolina for long stretches and the heat is on over and over and over again, pumping out that heat, I'm not gonna lie, it's dropped to 40% in rooms where I don't have humidifiers. Her room is one of them. She didn't care. I have her in a well-draining soil. I did remove a lot of the soil that she came in. Just as a note, mass-produced plants don't usually come in the best soil for them. So when I was rummaging around in her roots to see what was going on underneath, I put her in a nice tropical aroid mix that came from my favorite plant shop, Rhizome Plants in Cameron, North Carolina. She mixes her own mixes, and my plants absolutely love it. Could I mix my own plant mixes, soil mixes? Absolutely. I just don't have the storage to... Fungus snap. Bastards. Anyway, I just don't have the room. My dog is running. He doesn't like clapping, apparently. You okay, Yuka? Mommy's lost her mind, he thinks. It's okay. Every time I try to kill a fungus gnat, he goes to hide. I just don't have the room to store all the different components of mixes for different soils for the different plants I have in my home. So it's easier for me to store 5 or 6 of these and buy them as I need than to store all the different components. Pests. I'm just gonna tell you, this girl came home and she had, I did not know it, even though I looked her over when she was brought home to me. I looked in the leaves. I gave her a nice showering down, a wipe down of the leaves, looked around in the stems. I gave her a thorough looking around. And right around 4 weeks, when I had left my guard down and put my Dieffenbachia next to her and my one of my ZZ plants, I was looking around, watering, and when I water all my plants, I give them a good looking around. Look at the tops of the leaves and also underneath of the leaves. And that's when I saw it. I saw spider mites. They had not started their webs yet. So thankfully it was not a bad infestation. But immediately I had to isolate her. I put her in the dining room. That's where she stayed. She's probably going to stay there, not because she has any pests on her now, but because she loves her location so much right now where she is. I don't want to move her. She can stay there the rest of her life with me. Unless we move, she's going to stay there. I immediately gave her a shower down of water pressure from my sink, the hose thingy, I don't even know what you call it. Wiped her leaves down, and then I used alcohol, 70% alcohol, with cotton balls and went over every single inch, every leaf, every nook, and every cranny. Then I let that dry, and I mixed up a mixture of Dawn soap, neem oil, and water. And I sprayed her from top to bottom, let it drain into her soil. It did not hurt her. Look, she's done beautiful. I did that 3 days later, and then another 3 days later. And then I did her once a week for 6 weeks. And then I watched her. I watched her for another 4 to 6 weeks, and that's when I knew she was pest free. Some things I should have noticed in hindsight. I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna try to show you this leaf right here. See how this leaf here has a defect? That can let you know that that's early stages of pests invading your plant. And that was a new leaf that she was just putting out, and it was deformed. That should have been a huge red flag for me, that she might have had some pests starting their evil work on her. So, and needless to say, she was fully treated, and my poor Dieffenbachia and my ZZ plant got the same treatment. Not as intense as she did, but they also got the same treatment with the same neem just dish soap and water mixture for, I think I did them 4 weeks, and I don't think they got pests on them, but I just wanted to make sure, because I only saw the pests on a couple leaves on her, and those were not the leaves that were facing the direction of those plants, but it's better to err on the side of caution. This type of plant will need some staking to help with its growth. You see I have a little chopstick in there with some Velcro tape. Again, this tape is awesome. I use it for a lot of my plants, whether it be trailing plants that I want to get them to crawl up a pole or a trellis. Just really cheap stuff. Got it on Amazon. She is going to be going soon into one of these nursery pots so I can see what's going on with her roots. I just don't have a big enough nursery pot. I have to order some on Amazon. I won't do that again. I just don't have a ton of storage until spring comes, and I will start replanting a lot of my plants. So that's it for this sweet girl. She has been through the ringer and back. She is now giving me tons of new growth. She has not stopped. There's some new leaves there. I think it's so cool how they are wrapped in a burgundy sheath almost, and they just kind of uncurl. She's been giving me growth like crazy. New growth there, new growth up here, she is just, since she's been pest-free, been going crazy for me. And again, that's stuff you want to look for. It may not necessarily mean that your plant has pests like this poor girl went through. It came out after I started discussing things with my husband, that she was surrounded by English ivy, and he didn't know that they are spider mite guaranteed magnets, but he does now. So every time we pass ivy anywhere, he's like, spider mites. It's so cute, so funny. I love him. He's the best. But you know, things to look for when you need to know there's something going on with your plant would be defects in leaves. Most likely would be a pest situation. They're not growing, losing leaves. It could be pests, it could be root boundness, it could be any number of things. But right now, this girl is not giving me any of that. She's not losing any leaves, and she's giving me a ton. And her leaves are sizing up beautifully for me. I mean, look at the size of those leaves. I mean, look at them. She's my beautiful girl. I'm so glad I didn't put her in the bin like my husband told me to do. I said, I'm fighting for her, just like I fought for our love and our marriage. You gave her to me. It was the sweetest thing you've ever done. Because I'm addicted to plants. It's not the only sweetest thing he's done, but it really touched my heartstrings, and I'm so glad I fought for her, because she's absolutely gorgeous, and she was worth all the time and energy I put into getting her pest-free. So I hope you enjoyed this video about my Ficus Abidjan. Interesting side note before I let you go. Did you know that this plant is toxic to pets and also to humans? If you have a latex allergy, be careful pruning this girl. There's a sap that comes out. They actually use that sap to make rubber. Okay, so that's why cheap rubber, like rubber toys for dogs, they have latex in them. The same thing, the inside of this plant has latex. And if you have an allergy to latex and you want to have this type of plant, any type of ficus, you're going to want to wear gloves and take precautions so you don't have an allergic reaction to the sap. Actually pretty cool that there would be no plastic if it weren't for the wonder of the world, the ficus. Anyway, if you found this video interesting or helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to my channel for any updates, or if you want to follow my videos. And don't forget, if you've seen anything that I've mentioned in the video and you want to know where to find it, I will put links to Amazon, because I apparently, according to my husband, have an unhealthy relationship with Amazon also. So then we'll leave that for a totally different video discussion later on. Anyway, until next time, remember to give lots of love to your plants, and we'll see you again soon.